Hello, I'm Patty Ann Brown, and you are in the strategy room. Donald Trump is not backing down. He's defending his criticism of the parents of a slain Muslim American soldier and of Republican leaders who have rebuked him for it. In an interview with the Washington Post Tuesday, Trump declined to endorse for re-election House Speaker Paul Ryan of Wisconsin and Senator John McCain of Arizona, who both face primaries this month. Joining us now to weigh in are Democratic strategist Douglas Smith and Republican strategist Charmaine Yoest. Welcome to both of you.
Good morning, Patty Ann.
In an interview with a Virginia television station Tuesday, Trump said he had no regrets about his clash with Kaiser and Ghazala Kahn. They, of course, are the parents of an Army captain killed in Iraq. Kaiser spoke at the Democratic National Convention. Douglas, should Trump have regrets?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I just find this absolutely shocking. I mean, for the life of me, I just cannot imagine what he is thinking. I mean, he is the true kamikaze candidate for president. I was in Philadelphia on Thursday watching and listening to that speech, and there was not a dry eye in that place. I mean, just start from the premise of the insults that he is doing to a Gold Star family and go from there. I mean, the only thing I can imagine is that he has lost interest in actually running for president. Then he's hoping that it will just get so bad that he'll just take his ball, go home, and offer it to his vice presidential running mate, which I don't even know if is legal. Maybe Fox can figure that out or not.
Well, there is talk
for the life
of
me,
that.
I can't figure it out.
We're going to get to that in a minute because there is actually talk of that. But meanwhile, Trump was rebuked by several GOP leaders for his criticism of these Gold Star parents. And now, as we mentioned, in what could be retaliation, Trump is backing out of endorsing Ryan and McCain for re-election. Here's what he said on not endorsing Speaker Ryan. I like Paul, but these are horrible times for our country. We need very strong leadership. We need very, very strong leadership. And I'm just not quite there yet. Well, Ryan released his own statement on not endorsing Trump, saying, quote, I'm not there right now. So, Charmaine, what do you make of all this?
Well, I have to think that there was a certain tongue-in-cheek playfulness to Donald Trump coming back at a later stage in an interview to kind of throw that in there as, you know, after all that happened this spring, and the fact that it's been a tough week for the campaign. But as we head into the weekend, I think that you're going to see a renewed focus on what's going on with Hillary Clinton's campaign. You know, the fact that this week that we got such bad numbers from GDP, that over the weekend she renewed her deceptions on the email scandal that continues ongoing. So I think that you're going to see a refocusing after kind of the fatigue of the conventions, and a refocusing on the Hillary Clinton campaign.
You know, Trump claims that he was unfairly treated by Mr. Kahn, who is an immigration lawyer. Douglas, did you see unfair treatment there? And do you think voters will continue to support his campaign, even though some of these GOP leaders are refraining?
Look, I think the rats are fleeing the ship faster than you can imagine. I mean, there is a state of shock at what just horrific things that Donald Trump is saying. You know, I have a lot of dear Republican friends. I was in Cleveland and in Philadelphia, and sitting there and listening to the hate-mongering and turning to some of my Republican friends, you know, I feel bad for many of them who have to go on TV and try to defend this candidacy and try to change the message. The message is that you have a vindictive, angry, hateful man running for the presidency of the greatest country in America.
Let's go on.
No matter how many times you say a falsehood, it doesn't make it true. I could sit here and say 1,000 times I have beautiful blonde hair, but the viewers know
really
that's not true.
You know what? That is absolutely
is,
outrageous.
We are sitting
you would
at
describe
a very important time.
No, that's an outrageous description of what Cleveland was like when
Cleveland
I was
despicable.
I
want to let's move on from this, guys. I want to talk about what Douglas mentioned earlier. In fact, the Republican National Committee chair, Reince Priebus, called Trump yesterday to urge him to stop this feud with the Kahns. And ABC News is reporting now that senior GOP officials are exploring options should Trump drop out. Jonathan Karl says there's no mechanism to force him to resign. Trump would have to be persuaded to leave voluntarily. He doesn't show any signs of doing that. If he did, though, the 168 members of the RNC would choose someone else for the ballot. It's a lengthy process. Trump would have to drop out by early September in order for a new nominee to be in place in time. Charmaine, is this even a remote possibility?
Patty Ann, I just think it's fascinating that we have a news cycle where we're talking about these kind of unsubstantiated rumors and crazy talk about changing the nominee. When you talked about Reince Priebus, for example, so the RNC still has a really dynamic, functioning leadership and an organization that's moving forward. Meanwhile, the DNC has lost all of their top leadership. They had to have replaced. Well, no, this is an actual real story where just today they lose their top three. The CEO of the DNC was pushed out under pressure,
right.
and yet we're having stories of these unsubstantiated rumors and whispers about Paul Manafort. He comes out on TV today, clearly still vibrant and in charge and moving forward with the campaign. You know, this is kind of a silly season in the heat of August. We're going to be moving forward, and I think there's just a little bit of wanting to have a story where there isn't a story.
All right, we're going to have to leave it there. Douglas and Charmaine, thank you both.
Thank you,
and
Patty.
for complete coverage of the 2016 election, go to foxnews.com. I'm Patty Ann Brown. Thanks for watching.